It's a Christmas Day edition of the Morning Brief right here on Channels Television. Merry Christmas. I'm Jeffrey Uzonga.
Well, it's the Christmas edition, true. It's the most beautiful time of the year, and for good reason, because of the one who was born that we might live, and that man may no more die. Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome to the perfect morning starter right here on Channels Television. I am Bukola Koka. Jeffrey and Kaidi, by the way, Jeffrey and Kaidi didn't get the Christmas memo this morning. Guys, what happened?
Come on, I'm dressed like an angel. Welcome to the show. This is your perfect Christmas starter now. I'm Kaidi Kilo, dressed as an angel.
Yeah, Angel Kaidi, Merry Christmas.
Bless you.
So this is a Christmas color. You're so fixated on red.
Yes.
Who wrote that memo?
It's got to be red.
So there's shades of green, there's shades of red, and there are like 5 colors of Christmas. So the most popular seems to be red. And for whatever is what, I still have my emblem that represents, you know, the red. So I'm in tune. Maybe I don't know. Angelic.
Well, you're pardoned.
Just as an angel.
With the angel red, angel white.
Angels played a huge role in the birth of Jesus. Come on. So we have to represent them as well. Look at it.
All the shades of it.
Yeah. All I need is a wing, a makeshift wing, and then we're good to go.
The most important thing is the reason for the season. Jesus was born into this world to save mankind, and that is the reason for the season. His birth is being celebrated today around the world by all Christian faithful to remember that this is a very significant day in the life of every Christian who professes a Christian faith, because if he wasn't born, he's not going to die. So this is very cardinal as far as the Christian faith is concerned. So this is quite important to mankind in general, and he heralded into the world a time of salvation, a time of peace, a time of unity. And this is a time for us to propagate the gospel of peace, as, you know, the propitiator himself pushed forward. Jesus the Christ, that's what I like to call it. You know, the Savior and the Christ, the anointed one, and is the reason for the season. So whatever you are doing, remember, it's not your birthday, it's Jesus' birthday, and he has rules and regulations as to how you want to celebrate his birthday. That means celebrate him responsibly. That's what I'm trying to say in essence.
Well, it's a time of giving, it's a time of sharing, it's a time of love, it's a time of reaching out, and of course representing the symbolism of the one who came that we may live the season, and he gave it all. So it's a time of sacrifice as well. So will you be reaching out today? If you were not planning to, now you've got the memo to reach out to someone who needs some of the love of the season this time around. Kaidi.
Well, what more do I add, really? I just want to say, officially, Christmas has begun. So go out there and have a great day. Today, I don't want to talk too much. We've talked all through the year. But guys, let's take a quick break now. When we return, we'll get into our Christmas special proper. Stay with us.
And so we get started with a message from President Bola Tinubu yesterday, reassuring everyone, especially Christians, that Nigeria is a country that welcomes and accommodates all faith. Whether you're a Christian or a Muslim, this country is for you. According to Section 10 of the Constitution, it's a secular state. And he gave that reassurance in his Christmas Day message yesterday, as released by him. He signed it himself, as far as that message is concerned. And he talked about the fact that, look, there is Christian or religious liberty. That's the word I was looking for, religious liberty across the country. He said, go out there, celebrate, do not fear, do not worry, that he is poised to ensure that whatever is provided for in the Constitution, as far as liberty and freedom and expression of worship is concerned, or liberty to express yourself in any faith at all, you have that liberty in our country. I keep using that word liberty deliberately, just to re-echo the fact that Nigeria is a secular state. Guys.
an apt message for the season, but many of the times such messages are lost on non-state actors, as there was yet another attack in Borno State yesterday. It happened when some Muslims were observing their Maghrib prayers, and according to reports, about 5 deaths were recorded in that attack as a suicide bomber detonated a bomb while Muslims were praying. That is totally condemnable. But of course, it also places a question mark on the security emergency that has been put in place by government to tackle all of the security concerns that have heightened, especially in the last couple of months following the designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. We understand that security agents are trying to restore some form of normalcy to the situation. While that has been confirmed, there is another report emerging from Guma local government in Benue State, in Deze community to be precise, where another attack occurred and about 5 persons are said to have been killed in that attack. That is totally condemnable, especially as this comes about a fortnight or less after there were reports about intelligence that there may be Christmas Day attacks in Nigeria's north central, and this has come just hours to the Christmas celebration. Our hearts go out to all these communities in the northeast Borno State and in the north central Benue State, where families have lost loved ones just hours ahead of the Christmas celebration. We are with them in this one, even as we observe Christmas.
So those are images of the aftermath of that blast, we understand, from an IED. Naturally, investigations are on. So our hearts yet again go out to the families of those who've been killed and those injured. We understand that dozens of people are injured, about 35 plus people injured. So we will be following up with this event in Borno State to get you all of the updates from the government, the security operatives. As we know right now, no group has claimed responsibility, but we know that previous bombings in Maiduguri and other parts of Borno State have been linked to Boko Haram and the splinter faction, which is ISWAP. So that's the latest from the incident in Borno State. It's about 12 hours to Christmas. In fact, less than 12 hours to Christmas, because it happened about 6 p.m.
It's very heartbreaking to see these dastardly elements go after our people yet again. This is a mosque. People go to observe their prayers and their religious rites, and then you go out there to bomb them. We've not seen this dimension in a long while. We have had kidnappings and killings and all of that. Now they have scaled it up yet again to another dimension of bombing, because when I saw the story, I think it was yesterday, I had to look through and I saw bomb. I said, what in the world exactly is going on? We cannot continue to tolerate these elements of destruction, these enemies of state, going after a mosque to destroy the lives of people on Christmas Eve. And it looks like this is really deliberate to send a clear message. It looks like in part of our country, what now happens is, rather than the usual anticipation of Christmas Eve, where people, celebrate into the Christmas Day, people are now literally anxious, worried, afraid for their lives. And this is what has just happened in Borno State. This is not acceptable. This is totally condemnable, and the government must rise to the occasion. We still have very sketchy details as to how this happened, how this person was able to successfully get through whatever form of security or checks that is available within this area to carry a bomb or an IED, in this sense, into a place of worship, a mosque, to carry out this very evil act, killing our people. This is condemnable. It is not acceptable. And whoever has done this has to also pay the supreme price according to our laws. As Kayode said, we do not know which group is responsible, because no group has claimed responsibility. But what we know is that there are casualties, both death and injured, and destruction of property. Our thoughts at this moment is with the families of those that have been affected. I thought they will come into Christmas Day, complete. But now again, this has happened. It's very heartbreaking. This should not be happening. This is not how to celebrate the peak of the Yuletide.
And just quickly, we have more information on this incident in Borno State. That's from the headquarters of Operation Hadinkai, says that the explosion suspected to have been carried out by a suicide bomber who detonated the IED, killing himself and 2 civilians on the scene. As to who is responsible, the statement from Lieutenant Colonel Sonny Uba, who's a spokesman of the Theater Command, says that preliminary findings indicated the incident was caused by a suspected Boko Haram terrorist suicide bomber. We understand that the troops, in conjunction with the Nigeria Police Explosive Ordnance Disposal Team and other security agencies, as well as Borno State government and NEMA, responded, secured and cordoned off the affected area. So in terms of injured, the figures we have is 32 civilians sustained varying degrees of injuries. And regrettably, 2 of the injured civilians were later confirmed dead at the hospital, while 2 others are currently in critical condition.
And that may have increased the death toll that was earlier recorded, numbering about 5. Well, we'll wait an official figure from the headquarters of Operation Hadinkai that has brought us this update. But it is, again, we cannot say it enough that this is totally condemnable. This is an unprovoked attack. Worshippers were going about their business in their mosque, you know, observing their prayers to their God, and some elements, you know, would come and upset that for whatever reason it is. It's totally unjustifiable, and we must reiterate at this point that, you know, we watch dedicatedly the implementation of the new policy, you know, designating all kidnappers and terrorists as what they are. Terrorists, either they're kidnapping en masse or they're killing people, innocent people, unprovoked. They must be dedicated as terrorists. And we must see the justice system work effectively, accelerating trial through the Administration of Criminal Justice Act and ensuring the prosecution and you know, conviction of these criminal elements in our society. We do look forward to a day when they will be totally eliminated, where you know, recruitment into Boko Haram will no longer be fashionable, and that is the hope at this particular point in time. But Christmas remains Christmas, and we have quite a lot lined up this morning. In the next 2 hours, we'll try as much as possible to ensure that it's a festival of joy, which is what really Christmas is all about. So guys, what do we have lined up for today?
We just have to do the best we can to have a great Christmas. You know, it's quite difficult to see those pictures and see the human lives were lost. So it's not really easy to process. This is why we are always calling on the government to do the best they can to protect citizens. That's a social contract. We'll obey the law, so it protects our lives. But as Bukola said, there's a big package we have for you on the program today, from music to comedy to all kinds of performances. So we're going to be low on all of the issues that we always discuss. So maybe a one-day break from the crisis of Nigeria, which is quite difficult to walk away from, because, you know, it's almost in your face, literally. If you drive out of this office, go to somewhere else, just drive out of your place, wherever you are, there's one issue or the other that is calling your attention for you to maybe begin some form of a lamentation or just frustrates you. But we look for a day like this and just celebrate the best we can to ensure that all of us have a fantastic morning right here on the Morning Brief, guys.
Oh, yes. That is what we have planned for you. And just to reiterate that the Christian Association of Nigeria also released a statement in the spirit of Christmas. But what is quite striking is the 3rd and 4th paragraph that said, yes, churches will gather and rejoice during this festive season, but Christian leaders and the congregation must do so with wisdom, vigilance, and a deep sense of responsibility. And it says that in places where adequate security presence is lacking, church leaders should prayerfully consider holding services in safer locations or smaller groups. That statement was signed by Archbishop Daniel Oko, the president of the Christian Association of Nigeria. So that is it as far as news is concerned. We'll take a moment now, and when we return, we'll bring you more in our Christmas special. Stay with us. We've given you a sneak peek. We have Efe Macrock right with us in the building, music composer and producer. And right next to him, Favour sings, singer. Lady and gentlemen, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So we're going to get into the music proper. So we just tried to show you a snippet. We'll get into the music proper, but it sort of gives you a sense as to what we have planned for you today. I don't want to do hard talk, guys.
Not at all.
All through the year I have done hard talk. We have done a lot of hard talk.
What's your favorite Christmas song? Maybe we'll start from there. What's your favorite Christmas song?
Me? Is there any song that has food in it? Any Christmas song that has food in it is my favorite Christmas song.
There's none.
I think I like most of the carols, Silent Night, Holy Night. So I'll probably compose one that has food in it, because we don't represent food well enough in our Christmas carols.
But the Bible says man shall not live by bread alone.
So bread has to be there, and then you have to add other things to it.
Bukola, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Well, I love to sing, so I love all the Christmas songs.
I didn't say sing, Bukola. I just asked what's the...
Well, it's the precursor to answering your question, Jeffrey. So I love a lot of the Christmas songs. But I'm looking forward to Efe. I don't know what Efe has lined up for us, and Ola Favour sings. I don't know what they have lined up for us, but I'm looking forward to hearing Mary, Did You Know? That's... Yeah, you get that right.
In case they didn't have it on their list, you have to put it on the list now.
That's our first song.
Oh, we're in the spirit.
We can actually do a dummy right now.
My favorite Christmas song is Oh Holy Night.
Oh Holy Night.
Anytime, any day.
That's Silent Night, right?
No. Silent Night, Silent Night. Oh, yeah, Oh Holy Night. Yes, there are two different songs. Holy Night is my favorite Christmas song.
But you know, guys, it's been exactly or nearly a year exactly since we had Efe on the show.
Yes.
Remember, we had Efe on the show early last year.
Was it also on Christmas Day, Efe? Was it?
It was
Valentine's Day. Yeah, I remember.
it was Valentine. And Efe has gone ahead to do a lot of amazing things between now and that time and now. I understand that he has an album out already.
Wow.
Maybe you tell us all of the high points, between that time and now.
Not a problem. Okay, I should go.
Yes, go ahead.
It's been an amazing journey since last year. Worked on an album, also worked on a live show where I also discovered a lot of talents. Did in different states here in Nigeria, and it's just been an amazing journey so far. Making sure that I'm fulfilled, making sure I'm happy, making sure that I do this to the highest point of my excitement here. So that's been the summary of the journey so far.
So I'm wondering, one of the things I like about your end is your studio sessions.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to how you conceptualized it and how we got to the point. Literally, like right now, it looks like everybody wants to be on that in that particular session. What do you call that session again?
Macron session.
As simple as it is.
Very simple.
It just sounds like Johnny Drill's room or something of that nature. So tell us about the place of calm, classical, beautiful, not quite noisy music in today's contemporary performance.
So basically, calm music is a food to the soul. Music generally. You understand, but there's a certain level of peace that calm music brings, a certain level of clarity that calm music brings. It just takes you away from the noise and all the unnecessary excitement. When it's calm, it ministers to you. When it's calm, you can communicate to it when it's calm. You're not so distracted with the do and the vibes.
I know Olafeva is wondering, am I in this show? Yes, you are. We're keeping you for later. We'll get to you shortly, guys.
So I will do a dummy. We'll sing with them, have like our 2 minutes of fame before they eventually sing. So we'll take a break. Let's warm our voices when we return.
All right, that's good.
You get to hear it. We'll be right back.
This is a bad culture, by the way, to do. But nonetheless,
we're on a break right now, so we'll be right back.
Whether for active or retired singers is all fine.
Jeffrey, you're the only retired singer. I keep emphasizing it.
I don't like
it's
deceiving
not all
myself.
of us that are retired.
I say active and retired singers. I put myself in the retirement zone.
Yeah, retired Jeffrey singer. We'll take a moment. We'll be right back.
righty, so let's do our a cappella this morning, and Favour Singh is going to lead us. You give us the key, so we'll follow you. This is a moment of truth. You ready?
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? The child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm a storm with his hands? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? And you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God. Mary, did you know? Ooh, ooh.
I like the last part.
How did we do?
Mary every year. When is she going to know?
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for our 2 minutes of fame. Yeah. You will get your own proper time. But that is the essence of the season, really, to ensure that we spread the joy. In spite of what we see happening around, this season is the time we have to just sort of detox, let our hair down, and really get the essence of life. We go through the motions daily, the rat race, and sometimes it's hard to really pause and reflect. So this is the important moment. So we ask that you join us as we reflect on the show today, guys.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you can be part of this as well. All you have to do is to send that message to that loved one. Send it to us via email, the morning brief at channelstv.com. The morning brief, THE, the morning brief at channelstv.com. As soon as the numbers are available as well, if you could do a video, send to us. You know, there's a lot of, I just got back, people in the country. There are people going to their villages, especially our brothers from the southeast. I've been seeing a lot of mansions in the villages. So what are you doing in those mansions? You could sing and perform yours, just like if Macroc and Favour right here, and just do your thing. We want to have this show with you. So we want to know what you're experiencing, whether you're in the village, you're in the city, wherever you are. Let's have a great time together. So you can begin with the easier one. Send a message, the morning brief at channelstv.com. We'll read out your message and celebrate with you. And then as soon as we get the videos as well, we'll be able to share those moments with you. So it's Christmas Day, guys. So let's have the best time as much as we can.
And we know we indeed told you that it's going to be a lot of less talk today and a lot of joy sharing. It's a festival of joy, as I said earlier. So we'll be getting a lot more humor, a lot more singing, and a lot more celebrity gist, if you like. Of course, it's a packed show today. But what is the essence of the season? What is the symbolism of the one that we celebrate today? How much does it reflect in our everyday lives beyond the celebration of Christmas itself? And it's an important conversation to have, you know, for all festive seasons. How do we represent the one that we do believe in? Either we're the elected or the appointed or the followers. So we're going to be having a cleric to come talk to us also about the symbolism of Christmas. And so stay with us for that one. It's a very important one to look forward to. But guys, what we also saw yesterday was a lot of last-minute rush for shopping, travels, and it's a good thing also that government has slashed transport fares by 50% for those who would travel by rail. But it's not the same for those who are traveling by road. They're having a pretty hard time. And then for a lot of people, air travel is a no-go area because of the cost.
Well, travel will always be a major part of the Yuletide holidays generally. But yes, we're going on a break. When we return, Pastor Yemi Davis joins us. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's still the morning brief right here on Channels Television. It's the Christmas edition of the program. So if you've just joined us, Merry Christmas to you. We hope you're waking up to the most beautiful Christmas, the most memorable Christmas yet. And if not, make a decision to make it memorable, as we have made that decision right here on this side of the divide. And as we continue in our celebration of Christmas, we want to talk about the essence of Christmas. And we have joining us this morning on the program, right here in our Lagos studio, we were able to get him away from his congregation and from his family. Pastor Yemi Davids, the founding pastor, Global Impact Church. Good morning, Pastor David.
Good morning.
Welcome to the morning
Christmas
brief.
to you. Merry Christmas to all our viewers around the world. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. And so I'd like to start this way. Christmas, for a lot of us, had a different meaning when we were growing up from what it now means as we reach the age of accountability. I wonder if we could tie both experiences together and talk about the defining difference of the Christmas celebration in those two seasons.
Thank you. Growing up, it was a different experience for me, really. And I think we need to rescue Christmas the way it is now. Because I think our challenges in Nigeria has kind of put a coloration to Christmas. It's become something else. And I'm happy that we have the kind of conversation this morning. Because growing up, my mom, I mean, with the little we have, we would do what we call jollof rice, right? And some chicken. And then we give to people on our block. I grew up in Amodofin, Lagos here. And we just, you know, my mom would call us, okay, go and take to this flat, to that flat. And then people also do that. But over the years, it just, you know, faded off. And now we have, it's become so commercial that I think we need to rescue Christmas, kind of.
So what would this rescue?
I mean, like today's Christmas, there's something wrong with churches having Christmas service beyond Sunday, because it's about Christ. Okay, it's not just about making money, escalation of prices. So I mean, as simple as having a Christmas service, I'm glad that some churches are already doing that. Again, we had lost track of that, but now it's coming back. I would love to see more of that. Maybe if that happens, the essence of Christmas is properly reinforced, that this is about Christ. And the coming of Christ has to do with giving. As a pastor, you know, when we lead prayers in our churches, and you say, everybody should pray that God should send me a destiny helper. The decibel, you know, the noise just goes up. And I came up some weeks ago, I said, I don't like that prayers, because it makes you a bit self-centered. You know, send me a destiny helper. You are the one that needs help. You know, yes, we all need help. What of God make me a destiny helper to others? I think it's a more strategic prayer anyway, because if God has to use you to be a blessing to someone, you can never remain the same. And I think Christmas should push that not just waiting, give me a Christmas gift, greet me for Christmas. What are you going to do to make somebody experience Christmas? No matter your situation, I feel even if it's a bottle of water, you know, how much is that, you know, or sachet water, a pack, or a model of rice. Can you do something for somebody else? And the feeling is great. And that's the essence of Christmas.
I know you also serve as a chairman of PFN in Lagos State. So you occupy a very significant position in the church.
Yeah.
It's important you use this opportunity to help us understand in terms of the spiritual essence of this moment. What would that be?
Hope. Hope. If there's anything Christ came to do is to give hope. And I mean, for pastors especially, that you have an opportunity to speak with people virtually every week. We must not propagate hopelessness, a future that cannot work. This is an opportunity for us to inspire hope in people. I love the fact that Christmas is towards the end of the year, and it's an opportunity for everybody to also maybe reflect. In the midst of the festives, we're celebrating. Can you also reflect? How was the year? And what can make the next year better? What will make next year Christmas better than this year's Christmas? I think that's one thing I would want to speak out to in terms of, for the Christian body, especially in Lagos and, Nigeria at large. What can we do to make next year better? We have just some few days to the end of the year. So as we celebrate, maybe we should not be carried away, reflect, examine, not worry, reflect, review, right? And then perhaps some actionable steps that will make next year better, so that every Christmas at least can be a better Christmas, one way or the other.
Amazing. Nuggets are dropping this morning, not just gifts that we're getting. But Jesus came to give hope. Yeah. The government in Nigeria said he came to give renewed hope. I'm trying to tie it. But I want to also link what happened then and what is happening now. Yeah. During the birth of Jesus, yes, there was economic issues as well, because there was a lot of pressure in the city centers, so they couldn't have a place to give birth. Exactly. Yeah, yes. And then there was some sort of state-sponsored insecurity, because children of Jesus' age were then at risk. They were being killed and targeted. Yes. So his family had to actually take him away to Egypt until after a while before they brought him back. So it really paints a picture of how important government is. Even Jesus, the Son of God, did not call angels to delete. They had to move because the government, they said next to God is government. So it again speaks to the huge role of government. So if you were to maybe draw some sort of inference as to how we can restructure governance to make it work for the average person, because Jesus came as an average person, but that same government that was meant to protect him was the one after his life. So what do you think we can do to ensure that government really protects? Well,
I mean, the truth is the government, is from the people. Right. You and I, right? Elected governors, senators, House of Reps is from the people. So it starts from the people. And if you look at Jesus in his days, he never really focused on like the Roman Empire or Caesar. It was the people, because if you can treat the people well, then somewhere along the line the government will get better. We can't deceive ourselves that the people came from the moon. Okay. So now speaking to that, Jesus says something at the end of times. He says that judgment, that you will say, I was sick, you visited me. I was hungry, you gave me food. And someone will say, when did I see you? And he said, as long as you did it to your fellow person, you have done it to me. And when Jesus was born, on Christmas Day, some wise men came and gave him gifts, right? Gold, myrrh, and frankincense. So maybe I want to encourage that Jesus is still receiving gifts. Yeah. Only that it's what you do to your neighbor that you do to him. And sometimes you ask yourself, if people really see Jesus, would they recognize him? Because the guy was asking, there's a said that he said, I was hungry, you didn't feed me. I was thirsty, you didn't give me water. And they said, when did you, it's like if I had seen you, I would have done it. Of course, we would have done it. I said, well, you don't have to see me. If you do it to a fellow human being, as it were, you are doing it to me. So if we're going to be a better society, I think it's better we deal with the citizens as much as possible. Like the Nigerian project, for me, is a long-term thing, and it starts with us. Can we be the government in the sense of on your street, in your neighborhood, in your church, township? Can you make the difference? Can you exercise that thing you are trusting the government will do, maybe on a larger scale? Can you do it where you are? I think, because if people don't practice it there and grow in it, even if they change government 100 times, it will still be the same. If I'm self-centered, I'm not like Christmas for me should exemplify sacrifice. That's the kind of love, not just dancing and dirtying it all around, all around the state. In that sense, it's a sacrificial kind of love. And there's something I noticed in the governance in Africa, it's lack of sacrifice. There's a lot of selfishness. What are you doing with billions of dollars in an account somewhere? What are you doing? What are you going to do with it? You can make somebody's life better. But if people don't practice that on a day-to-day basis, in their office, in their neighborhood, they would not do it when they get into governance.
You have approached a sensitive subject with your reference to dirtying it all around. And, you know, Khan has kicked against the movie of a particular movie producer, and, you know, that producer has begged and apologized. But more often than not, it appears as if the sacredness of faith is lost on even the practitioners of the faith itself. I'd like you to speak to the position of perhaps the PFN, or even a personal position on these matters and how they impact on the faith from a holistic point of view.
I mean, like this video you mentioned, you know, I can't even blame them for doing that. It's because the Christian body has not been able to push Christmas the way it should. And, you know, when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. I can't blame anybody for dating the Christmas in that sense. If you are there, like you have taken your position, like this is what Christmas is supposed to be. So I think it's more of us as Christians to, I mean, like this forum now, I'm glad we're having this conversation. Can you imagine if this morning it was completely something outside the birth of Christ, you know? So I think we Christians need to do much more. Churches should do much more. I mean, I love a Christmas day where churches are just all over the place giving out gifts in the name of Christ. You know, you're cleaning, you are helping the orphans, you're visiting hospitals and doing things. And if those pictures are all over the place, maybe instead of having a dirty Christmas, we'll have a very beautiful, a more beautiful Christmas. I think we should take more responsibility, because if we don't do it, whatever people now, however people now define it, you can't really blame them. Yeah.
Something has been ringing through my mind while you were talking. Scripture says that Jesus saw them and he was moved with compassion.
Yeah.
It looks like we've lost that element of compassion in our humanity when you see how people conduct themselves. And there are plethora of examples. Sometimes now even technology is not even helping. So sometimes you see somebody's in a crisis, rather than go help, people are fuming. It's lack of compassion for the human soul. You see, as you mentioned, you see some of the actions of government, and you're wondering, do these guys who are in charge of our Commonwealth really have a soul? When you see some of the things that have been alleged against them, how do we rebirth compassion into first our humanity? Then we can now talk to Christians.
The truth is, we have a lot of leadership gaps in Nigeria and in Africa, and we shouldn't keep quiet. I would encourage this forum not to keep quiet, because media shape the way people think. I don't know where that came from. Maybe, I don't know, that desire to just blow, you know. Like younger folks want to blow. People just want to succeed overnight. And the best way to blow is to be a blessing. If I have a product, right, that blesses a lot of people, they'll buy into it and I'll blow. So how do we define these things? And I think government has to do a whole lot. And for those in governance, maybe, I'm sure they're watching this morning, they can do much more, because you can exemplify compassion easily at that top. You have access to resources, people, and you can push that. You can do that, and it's not there. Now the other side is for us Christians to be able to, as I said, what can you do where you are to show compassion? Love is not just the emotional thing. Thank God for that side of love, but there's the practical outworking of love. Only that people think the only way I can be a blessing is when I do something big. Until I give somebody a bag of rice or 10 bags of rice or buy them a vehicle. I think whatever I can do to put a smile on someone's face will make the difference. Small scale, medium scale, or very large scale. And if I'm going to say to us about compassion, we have to exemplify it. We should not even just talk about it, just do it. Just do it. And I think it's like football. You watch football?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, like, you know, when you're a self-centered striker, you don't want to pass the ball. You know, just want to score. But we realized that over the years, even FIFA realized that, okay, no, people that assist are also very important, that you can pass the ball. And sometimes when you pass the ball, I realize that it comes back to you and then you score. So when you show compassion, you're actually helping yourself. Because I think people need to be educated about, because they think, oh, if I do it, who will do for me? No, you're doing it for others. It's doing it for yourself. It will boomerang. Whether we like it or not, what you sow is what you reap. So can't you go on a rampage and start showing compassion all over the place, because it's going to backfire in a positive way. So if that kind of education is there, then it makes a difference. Now, the other thing I'm bothered about is the social media. I talk to young folks a lot, and I say, okay, you see a video of someone with a Rolls Royce or something, and then standing beside the Rolls Royce, and then the next thing is you like it. Can you just pause a bit and check, okay, I like the Rolls Royce, fine. Okay, the person, who is this person? What does he do for a living? Before you go and endorse what you don't even know, I mean, whether it's a criminal, whether it's a Yahoo, as we say it, you know, and maybe some bit of investigation will help you either just skip rather than just liking it, because that is affecting the mindset of people that, okay, what matters is for me to just showcase something big. Nobody cares about how I got it. No, we care about how you are getting it, or you got it, whichever way. And Christmas is also, growing up, it was a family thing. You know, I mean, everybody comes together, your elder brothers will come home, and they will eat together. And I think that's one thing people are also doing today. I hope so. I want to believe so.
We hope so, particularly because of the contest. But believe me, you believe you me, people will always strive to have a good holiday. And the point you made, quite vital, because, you know, from time to time we do social experiments. Oh, so you approach a gate with an SUV. And immediately just say, okay, well done, pass. And that same you get on a motorcycle, and once you get, they say, park.
It's like my
stay one side.
When I'm coming in with my vehicle, they just greet me. One day I was coming with Uber, they didn't even greet. I said, so that means it was the vehicle they were greeting.
It's the vehicle.
It wasn't me.
So I think we need to change that orientation. It's a big deal. But I want to ask, is there something missing in the message that we preach in our churches, such that a lot of Christians do not want to approach politics? They don't even want to touch it with a long pole. It's almost like it's a no-go area. Yeah. And once they see anybody, any young person join a political party, you become a part of it, not remembering that if you want to actually change what you're preaching against, you have to be a part of it. So is there something missing? Do we have to add that vitamin?
Oh, yes. I mean, when I came on board as a leader in PFN Lagos, the thing I said to pastors is the content of our messages could be affecting believers. Let's start with the prosperity message. I believe in prosperity. I believe people should be great entrepreneurs. But how do you teach it? Is it the prosperity of just do this and then this will happen? Yes, there are miracles. But what about process? What about hard work? What about excellence? You know, so we need to improve on that content. Then talking about politics, I said most of the icons we have in the Old Testament are politicians in principle. Daniel was a politician. Joseph was a politician. Esther was a politician. King David is President David. So if you look at that, you can't say politics is evil. Yeah. In fact, it's like we have enough examples to learn from. You know, Esther was the wife of the president, you want to call it, emperor.
First lady.
Yeah, first lady. Joseph was the prime minister. Daniel was kind of prime minister. You know, Nehemiah at one time became the governor of a particular region. So I said, people should just realize that we have a lot of examples that we can learn from. So I think something is missing, correct? And we need to just encourage people. I think we should not be saying things like politics is dirty. There's dirtiness in everything. It depends on how you approach it. But the business can be dirty. Marriage can be dirty. So when we have that kind of narrative, it affects people. So we need to change that. And I think pastors will have a role to play in terms of the content of our messages. The moment that is tweaked and you can encourage people, you ought to be a new generation Joseph. Get into that place and make the difference. And for goodness sake, I don't think Joseph was a poor man. Do you think so?
Joseph?
I don't think so. So I'm talking about, because people say, oh, to make money, you will get the money.
Right.
Except you are greedy for something that's not yours. But you get the money. I don't think Esther was poor. Except you are looking for something that is not missing. Because Esther was the first lady. She had to rise up to the occasion when there was a case of massacre, you know, both spiritually, she had to pray and fast. But beyond that, if you remember, there had to be some political intervention. She went to talk to the president. That's the kind of examples we should give as pastors. And I believe if we do that, people will be inspired. And new Josephs, I call them new generation Josephs, Esthers, and Daniels. Whereas I believe that's the next chapter of the church.
And you know, for all these Bible patriarchs and matriarchs, there is a virtue in Christ found in all of them. Either it's David, the heart for God, Esther, sacrifice, you find it in Christ as well. Joseph, integrity, it's also in Christ as well. And I'm wondering, where are the integrity messages, where are the consequence of sin messages, and where are the sin messages, you know, in our churches today? I'd like you to speak to that as well as we wind down.
You know, I think, like I said to someone some time ago, when you see somebody leading prayers, you can tell maybe the challenge the person is going through. When somebody, like opening prayer now, and then you're taking open prayer, and then, oh, Father, in Jesus' name, thank you for this service. And then the next thing is, Father, all my financial problems, you're going to resolve it. You could tell the person has a challenge with finances. What I'm saying is, because of the challenges in our society today, it affects what you even see in the Bible if you're not careful. when you are, for instance, now, an average Nigerian will be saying divine protection, no matter what you are reading, even if you are reading Jeremiah or you are reading Nehemiah, because of the insecurity. Because you need to be secure. So I think the challenges we've had in our country in terms of economic, you know, downturn has affected the things we see in scriptures. We see provision. We see prosperity. You
always preach that. Look through the Bible and find that scripture that works for you.
Right.
And you know, that's what you preach.
So we are saying that people should go beyond that.
Right.
I mean, to see those things that you are saying. I mean, I tell people that if there's anything I see in the Old Testament, are those examples. We don't have so much of that in the New Testament. Jesus just came and then the church was being birthed. So God gave us that Old Testament to say that, oh, you are a Christian, but in these areas. Like Job was a businessman, but had integrity. But was very rich. So why can't we keep telling people that with integrity you can, you will? I show them, because faith comes from God's word. Like with Esther, she was the first lady. So maybe you're married to someone that is an egghead, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't mean you can't still fulfill destiny. Those examples are there. Joseph was not the president. He was a prime minister. So you don't have to be the president. Whatever role, whether you're a governor or local government chairman, you can make the difference. Joseph made the difference. So those things are there. And I think we need to keep digging it out and speaking to it regularly. I feel that's the next chapter of the church.
Maybe before we let you go, let's talk about some housekeeping practices. Sometimes you see what some, I'm almost tempted not to call them pastors, but for the purpose of decency, we'll keep it at that. You see certain practices by some preachers in terms of symbolism. I don't want to be specific, so that I'm not
trying not to.
I'm speaking to you now as PFN chairman. What is the church doing about some of these practices that people wonder, what exactly is this Christianity? What exactly is going? This is borderline maybe idolatry or something?
Yeah, I agree. A lot happens behind the scenes. Unfortunately, we live in a world where people want to see what you're doing on social media. A lot happens. Call people to order, you know, like call to a meeting. What is the meaning of this? What is Pepe, you know, doing in this matter or in a service? So that happens. But there's another thing I encourage is we need to keep encouraging the sheep. You know, there's no market for something, it will fail. Sometimes you wonder, this person has said this. Why are you clapping? I thought you were educated. I thought you have some common sense. Because if there's no market, some of those things will just begin to... So I'm for sheep education. There's a way you educate people that even... Because there will always be charlatans, I won't lie to you, in any industry. Especially a thriving industry. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's even a proof that there's something there. You don't have a fake 5,000 naira note because there's no original 5,000 naira note. So if you find charlatans in an industry, it shows there's something there, something God is doing. So, but can we educate the people? Just like we do when it comes to products. Hey, this is fake product. When people don't buy it, then you lose your market. Because I'm bothered. Because sometimes, like happened to Moses, even when you try to take out the person, you'll be surprised who will come after you.
Yeah.
You understand? The people, I was trying to rescue you. So I think we need to educate the people so that when charlatans, in that sense, come up with things, the backlash, the reactions will make you also think twice or thrice before you bring pepper into the service.
All right.
Bring pepper into the service.
As we wrap up now, finally, Pastor, I'd like you to look to the camera for those who may not have a personal experience of why Jesus was born today. In 30 seconds, maybe not so many words, but I want you to speak to their hearts so that they have, maybe in this moment, maybe shortly, a personal experience of why Jesus came.
There'll be 5 over there.
Merry Christmas again to everyone out there. I'm happy we celebrate Christmas every year. An opportunity to reflect and to begin again. If this year didn't really work out the way you think or thought should have been, another year is just around the corner, and Jesus is giving that hope that what you could not catch this year, as we say, you're able to catch them next year. And when you do that, always give God the glory. And please be a blessing to someone this season, no matter how small or how big. Be a blessing.
Well said. Pastor Yemi David is a founding pastor, Global Impact Church, who has come to celebrate Christmas morning with us. Pastor, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me. Once again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. God bless you, sir.
Amen. Thank you. And so we'll take a moment. When we return, the Festival of Joy continues with some more performances. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
All around the world today, we're celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. So let's begin by reminding ourselves of why he was born and the road that leads to the cross, the narrow road. We will lead as soldiers of the cross as far as our own 2 feet will carry us, flipping tables and turning lights out on demonic activity by taking our light out to a world that has lived outside the light for so long. We will lead as soldiers of the cross as far as our own 2 feet will carry us. But my own 2 feet are 1 foot away from slipping down the slippery slope of an unbelief hidden in my belief. Believe me when I say that the words from these lips don't always line up with the thoughts in this heart. My ongoing chase of sense and uncertainty and stability and the unpredictability of a life I cannot micromanage has stretched the veil of my facade so thin that I am now shocked to see the contents of my heart so plainly. So I grasp for new covering, spit out some fine words of conventional faith I have bartered for with what's left of my conviction. But what happens when I have nothing left to barter with? Still, we will lead as soldiers of the cross as far as we possibly can, because when we catch glimpses of God's gifts inside us, they excite us upon discovery, but quickly lose their shiny glint once we realize that these gifts require some assembly, lessons to be learned, and desires to be submitted. And I ask myself how imperfect tools could be used by a perfect God. And they stay there in my soul, like half-open packages and half-finished tasks as we are driven to distraction by the important things of this life, forgetting that there are more important things than this life. The narrow road is a place where every man is called to die. And inside him, his spirit is reborn. The ultimate exchange of death for life. The narrow road is a path that was paved by the blood that flowed from the sinless sinner. The sun turned dark as he looked past the hatred in the eyes of the ones that tore his flesh with whips and into the eyes of God and into the eyes of man. The narrow road is a path that I must walk with my own 2 feet, but my own 2 feet are tired, aching. I want to lead as a soldier of the cross, but I am held back by fear and lack and the unpredictabilities of a life I cannot micromanage. So what do I do, Father? But as I drag my dusty feet Along these roads, I am reminded that I have never walked alone. For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, whose footprints we now see through the sands of time. Because he's walked these roads long before we even thought, and before we were even thoughts, and now he calls us to follow. And there was nothing that can overtake us because there was nothing that could overtake him. So we will follow. We will lead as soldiers of the cross up this narrow road until the end of time, where we will lay our crowns at the feet of the resurrected King and crown him with many crowns. The newborn baby whose cry pierced through the silence of a Bethlehem night, as the whole world and its realms unseen held its breath. Son of God, Son of Man, heaven's jewel now embedded in a vessel of clay. The King is here. And this time he's not coming with chariots or angels, no pomp or pageantry, but with a simple word that calms the storm and raises the dead to life. Listen, as creation sings the grateful melody of an eternity now redeemed by the coming of this promised King who was and is and will forever be. So lift up your heads, O ye gates, and crown him with many crowns. Messiah, Redeemer, the King of glory, crown him with many crowns. Crown him with many crowns.
Now that deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, Deze, spoken word artist, phenomenal. You take words and you turn them to arrows. I'm not doing spoken word, by the way. And then just pierces the soul. Fantastic work, Deze. Deze, what does it take to be such a phenomenal spoken word artist? In case I'm planning to be one.
The grace of God and the submission to his will and letting him use your gift to his glory.
Amazing, and that's exactly what we're celebrating. Thank you so much, Deze. We're going to have more of Deze, so please stay right there with us. So, Deze, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amazing work. Whew, that was powerful. And with that amazing ministration come performance, we welcome to our Lagos studio, Gaise Baba.
Again.
Gaise again. Gaise Baba.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Wow, this is one of my best shows this year, so let's milk it, right? First off, we had you earlier in the year. We're having you again, and since then, Gaise Baba has done amazing stuff. Your video, No Turning Back 2, won the award for the most viewed Nigerian video on YouTube.
Right.
And we're celebrating Christmas, where a very little baby that a lot of people would have overlooked ended up saving the world. And it's almost like your story. People look at you and say, this guy is small, but bro, you're pulling heavyweights. So do you see your story and say, yeah, I'm replicating what Jesus asked us to do?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again for having me on the morning brief. You know, there's brief things that do powerful.
Nice one.
Earth, you know. And I think it's the way of the kingdom. You know, Jesus said that the kingdom of God is like mustard seed that is the smallest in the field. But when it is planted, it grows, becomes a mighty tree. And the birds of the air find shade in it. So it's the way of the kingdom to be unassuming. It's the way of the kingdom to not be seen coming. It's the way, it's just, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. So look down on a carrier of the life of God at your own risk. Look down on a carrier of the essence of God at your own risk. So every child of God you see, every carrier of greatness that you see, or every child of God you see is a carrier of greatness, even if that greatness is yet to manifest. You look down on that person at your own risk. I think that's the best way to put it. So it's the way of the kingdom. It's the smallest in the field at the beginning. You don't see it coming. All of a sudden, the stone that was rejected becomes the cornerstone. That's just the way of the kingdom.
You've literally, with your song, like you've been talking about, invaded the culture, causing a shift. So get to the numbers you got to. When there are other big mainstreamers, I mean, when I talk about the music, where sometimes faith-based sounds don't get even counted, they don't get counted at all. That to be right there is quite a phenomenal achievement. So, but with that also came with a lot of, you know, argument as to, I remember when that song came out. In fact, there was, I saw somewhere, somebody, I think it was a preacher that was talking about the interview we had with him here, and all of the, turning this song is supposed to be a solemn. How did you deal with the criticism that comes with the greatness that that song brought to you?
To be honest, I didn't deal with it. I just focused on the work, man. I just focused on the work. No Turning Back blew up, thanks to God, became a global anthem. And I'm very grateful that we saw it for what it was and what it is, which is an anthem for evangelism. It's an evangelism anthem. So what we then brought out of it was a tour. So we started touring universities, started touring university campuses, and we went around Nigeria, literally. You know, we went to the west, went to the east, we went to Enugu, went to Calabar, went to Bauchi, Kaduna, Jos, Abuja, universities all over Nigeria. You know, Nigeria big past Lagos.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. Many times we just stay in our cocoon in Lagos, and Lagos has what? Maybe 20 million people. That's just a tithe of the nation. And sometimes when you obey the leading that God gives you, you think that you're just obeying Him, if you get what I mean, and you're doing something for Him. But most times, even what He's instructing you ends up helping you. So for instance, in our touring, the song stayed alive, if you get what I mean. So throughout this year, like from May, when the song came out, till as I speak, it's still on top 5 on YouTube, till now.
That's unusual.
That's unheard of. That's 7 months. Songs, no matter how big it is, this generation, and I'm talking big songs, have 2 months to 3 months shelf life. You know, this hasn't just been relevant. It's been at the top consistently for 7 months. And part of that is because I feel like the tour that we did, because we're going to universities, organizing these big concerts across the campuses all around. Ilorin, went to Ilorin, Ogbomoso, Ibadan, Ife. We just kept going around and reaching young people, evangelizing with vibe.
I like that part.
Just before we leave your feet in 2025, Jeffrey referred to something significant about it, and that's the fact that the song surpassed views of popular artists like Davido, Wizkid, and Shali Poppy, and you just talked about, you know, it's still remaining on top 5. How prophetic is it that faith-based music is now the mainstream music, shaping, you know, the culture that what's his name talked about in the song is going to shift? How prophetic is it?
Yeah, I mean, you have already said it. It's prophetic, and I think it's in line with the Davidic story. You know, those names that you called are really, they're giants. In the music industry, those are giants. So for the Davids to come out of nowhere and without the sophistication of an armor and a sword and $3 to $4 million to push a song, with just your sling and stone to surpass it all, that's as biblical and as realistic and practical as it gets. That's as practical making the Bible as it gets. You know, so if you read the story of David and Goliath, sling and stone against sword and armor, that has played out in the music industry this year.
You said something without saying it earlier on, that, you know, God literally gave you a campaign to keep your song on top 5 through the campus tour. So yes, you were obeying, but it was also helping your music, keeping it. I must say, I still streamed the songs on this, so I think we're responsible for that. And that's amazing, the way you paint it. But you know, they always say there's a thin line between, you know, really living that life and being loud about it and pride. You know, you watch boxing. I imagine you do watch boxing.
Yeah, I follow. Now it's entertaining. They're not really fighting.
I know where you're going, right?
You
know, before the fight, in fact, most time the one that loses eventually is the loudest. I say, you know, I'm going to beat you first round. It's going to be a KO. You'll be seeing stars and all, and the fight happens and the KO's in the first minute, right? But they say you have to be confident. You have to show what you have, because if you don't blow your trumpet, nobody will blow you or blow the trumpet. The winning side is the loud, you know, all those
shouting
things.
Side
you get it.
Side.
So how do you draw that line between confidence and then pride? Because they say there's a thin line, and pride goeth before a fall.
It's an interesting question. May the Lord help me answer it well. Amen. So what I'll say is, I'm a person of faith, yeah, and I follow God to the best of my knowledge and ability. I think pride is when you rely on your abilities alone, like on yourself, and you're not depending on that higher power of God. So if you study David, David would bow before God, surrender to God, ask God, shall I go? Shall I not go? What shall I do? So once he gets that go ahead, when he comes out and he's speaking with men, his chest is broad, his shoulders are square, his head is straight, he's looking at the giant in the face, and I'm saying, I'm going to feed you to the birds today. So at the point of declaring true what you are going against, it's not at that point you want to be subdued. Your mouth has to be wide open, and you have to be declaring with the audacity of a lion, because you are a son of a lion. I mean, God himself told Joshua, be bold and courageous, be bold and courageous. So in the face of the assignment, you have to be bold. When you are in the presence of God, you are subdued, because you know he's the one that is empowering you to do what you have to do. But when you step into the arena, you have to be as assured and as audacious and as confident in declaring the word that God has put in your mouth as you can.
One thing that's wrong in my mind, I'm big on longevity. I'm big on sustainable growth and development. Anybody can have a rave of the moment, a flash in the pan, fly on the wall. It can happen. What are you within your own ecosystem? By that I mean the Gaise, the Prince Emmanuel, and all the people that do music that some elements in the church will say, oh, extreme or whatever. How are you building on this to sustain what you've done? Because it's quite remarkable to see a song stay for 7 months on the chart at the point where it stays. In fact, as a matter of fact, the other day I was watching something, was it Billboard or one of the charts, saying that for the first time in many years, decades, that rap music is not part of the first 40 songs. And so they were asking the question, is rap dead officially? So to have Afro Gospel do this is remarkable for everybody who is a person of faith. Sustainable plan, what is it?
It's to raise more people. It's to raise younger people, raise more people, raise younger people, raise new voices. It has to go beyond self. So longevity for the tribe, longevity for the sound, longevity for the movement has to be beyond Gaise Baba, Prince Emmanuel. There have to be new names that come on board by 2026, 2027. So we can't just have 4 to 5 people. We have to continually keep iterating and expanding this and expanding the space. You have to go from a David to a Jonathan. You have to go from a Moses to a Joshua. You have to go from a Paul to a Timothy. That's how you keep longevity. So once you do not think just about yourself, but you think about the community, you think about the space, and you think about keeping it going, then I think that we'll be good.
The long-term work. But your successes have not come without your fair share of challenges. And by this, on behalf of the team, I'd like to extend our condolences to your family. But I'm wondering how you're dealing, with the events that have happened to you in the last few months. You lost your dad in November, coming at a time when you're now beginning to experience an unprecedented level of success. Does it come with some conflict within that, this is the time that you'd have wanted your dad to be around, to witness your success? How are you dealing with it personally?
Well, first of all, thank you for the condolences. I appreciate it. Second, first of all, my dad witnessed it, he saw it.
Yeah.
He encountered different people shocked that it's Gaise Oba's dad. It's like, what's the popular? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he saw it, and I'm glad he did, because he prophesied it on Surely, the first track on my most recent album, 3 years. That's a decade after. So his voice is on that track. So he was the one that said the prayer, and the words he actually said was, everywhere they listen to music, let your music catch traction. So he said that 3 years ago. So I'm glad he saw it before he passed. My dad was 87. My mom was 84. They lived full lives. So yes, it's sad. Yes, we grieve. But I see it as a transition in generations. And it's our turn now. Moses is gone. Joshua arise. That's how I see it.
Amazing. I must shift gears now, and I hope you'll shift with me. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
It's Christmas, Gaise. Again, I know we're coming from a damp now, but I like the way you're handling it, and I think faith also helps you to see things, beyond the physical. How are we celebrating Christmas, Gaise?
My own Christmas is going to be very restful.
It's been a long year.
It's only channels that could have brought me out. It's only channels that could have brought me out. And I have to say it, even for organizations like churches, we try to be like everybody's the same, but at the end of the day, everybody's not the same. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Yeah, so there are people who were there through the journey when it wasn't like you were up here. You are going to give, what's it called? First something of refusal.
Right of refusal.
First right of refusal.
Right of first refusal. Yeah.
You get the point, child. They are the ones that they are English masters. We now vibe with you. Yeah. So there are those who you will give that privilege to because of the part that they've played in your journey. And I have to say that Channels has been there practically from the beginning, and so I'm thanking the institution of Channels Television from as far back as my very first concert in 2016. Channels Entertainment was there to cover, and it was on the Channels Entertainment news bulletin. I think the very next was Maiwa Gundili. Yeah. So shout out to Channels. So it's Channels that brought me out on Christmas Day. I wanted to just chill. I've had the busiest December I've ever had yet, and it's not done. And I'm managing my voice as I am.
I noticed.
So my plan was to just stay in-house. Fortunately, my immediate church isn't having a service, so I'm just going to chill at home and rest. So once I'm done with this commitment, I shall return to initial plan.
So factory setting.
Yeah, so that's what Christmas is for me. Yeah. I think everybody has to define what it is for them. But in all, whatever you're doing, remember the reason for the season and make sure you chop some chicken.
Are you trying to rhyme?
I was trying to.
And
I hope I got
it. It worked.
It worked out.
The reason for the season and chop some chicken. I like that.
Yeah. Anytime, any day. My favorite part of your song is That's my favorite part.
You said it that day.
Yeah, so for the persons who haven't, because sometimes I don't want to make assumptions, This is perhaps the biggest of the songs you've heard this year. Gaise Baba no turning back. He's right there. Very busy. I'm grateful he honored us by coming out to this program this morning as part of our Christmas service. Did I say service?
You did say
Christmas
service.
program.
You said it. You said
So
it.
it's just,
Maybe you're prophesying, you don't know.
Christmas
it's just for Gaise about to lead us through worship.
Christmas
Which we will do right now.
which we're about to do. Perhaps that's why the words came out of my mouth. So I don't know whether the producers are going to do it or you're going to just rhyme for us.
No, there's a dance.
There's a
no turning back dance. So, guys, this is like I was in Abuja last time you came. So we have to do the dance.
We're dropping I'm dropping all my cards.
You want to do service now.
So, okay.
There you go. So
Good. If there's a special dance,
there you go.
Okay.
Is this chair supposed to help
So,
us?
guys, you have to be slow because some of us are not factory-come dancers.
So you just do this.
Raise your voice and shout.
Okay, just do this.
Just do this.
Okay. Where is the sound?
So when you go, while we're waiting, we're gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this one.
Yeah. Let's go there.
Like a marching.
Yeah. Yeah.
No turning back. No turning back. Then we'll do this now. Go. You're gonna turn now. No turning back. No turning back.
That's it. We made it to the show.
Let's try one more
Thank
time.
you for
I'm sorry.
coming.
Is it we have to do it
You
one
want
more
to
time?
try again?
Should we do one more
Do it one
time?
more time.
Okay.
You're perfect.
Just
Now,
a popular demand.
I hope I did
remember,
well.
no turning back.
Okay. Yeah.
Then switch from your left. Let's all go left. Left.
Left.
Okay, like
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
You ready?
why am I the only one facing this side?
It's okay. I'm following Jesus too.
Are you ready now? Now let go. No turning back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gaise Baba. On our
Gaise
Christmas
Baba.
special.
Thank you so much, as always.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for helping me have a brief morning.
On the morning break.
Thank you. You can sit down. You can sit
We'll
down.
take a quick break now, and when we're done, we still have a lot more for you. Clearly, we're having a lot of fun, and we hope you're joining us to have that fun. So stay with us right here on the Morning Brief.
continue to work on that. If Macrock and Favour, they are just itching to go there. But it looks like we need to wait a little more. But we will get that performance as soon as we get some of those technical bits sorted out. But they're here to make sure we have a fabulous Christmas. They're supposed to perform like, if I don't know how many songs, maybe 10. So we still have a lot in our kitty. But let's come back to the conversation. Guys, I was watching you perform just a moment ago. And my colleagues were standing up, but I was in awe. I couldn't stand up. I was just looking at what you were doing, literally, because the words that came out of your mouth and the way you conveyed those words were super powerful. And I know you answered like a typical Nigerian. How do you do it? The grace of God. Nigerians, that's how we answer. But there's a lot more that goes into your art as a spoken word artist. Tell us about it.
So, I will start by saying that I can't say for the typical Nigerian, but I will say for myself that the grace of God has been a fundamental part of everything I do, especially when it comes to spoken word and performance poetry as a whole. I think the other pivotal thing is my community. I work with a fantastic team of performance poets and actors and dancers, and being in that space is something that has stretched me and pushed me to discover and unlock the things that were inside me. And here we are today.
So what I mean by that is, when you ask a Nigerian, how do you do it so grace? Oh, by the grace of God. That is a given. So we'll walk through how long do you practice? What are the levels of work you put in for this level of excellence? Is that something you can share with us?
Of course. Well,
Share the secrets. It's Christmas Day. It's the day of giving. So it doesn't hurt to give.
I'd say one of the first things is hearing what it is you need to say. I'm a believer, and every message I come out with has to be what the Lord wants me to say per time. For example, I might have a theme or a topic in mind, but it has to be the words, it has to be communicated the way that the Holy Spirit wants me to communicate things. So I could sit down, always start with prayer, and ask Him for inspiration, ask Him for direction, and I begin to write. Sometimes I listen to music prior, and that helps, the flow of things, and the words begin to come. And once it's all written down, it's like, okay, great, you've given me a fantastic poem, but how do we turn this into a performance? Because it is performance poetry, it's spoken word. And then, begins the process of connecting with the piece. Just because you write something doesn't necessarily mean you've connected with it. You need to sit back and reflect on the words and understand truly what you're trying to say, understand the message, and spend some time with that. The minute you connect with your piece, the minute I'm able to connect with my piece, things shift. The memorization process is often not too challenging, I'd say. I thank God for that, because it's something that I always worried about. I thought it would be challenging for me to memorize things, but you find that once you've connected with your piece, once you understand the message you're trying to say, remembering the words comes easy, I'd say.
That's for you.
And you make it sound so easy, but you could have delivered perhaps 200 or 300 lines earlier on, and you wowed us. And
call it content, right?
I didn't quite count. I'm just doing an estimation, but that was amazing, and evidently came from a place of intimacy. And as much as you were miserly about sharing, I got one tip. Music aids your creative process.
Yes, it does.
Now, for some people who are watching you right now and they're like, oh, a spoken word artist, how lucrative is it? You said earlier that you do other things. So tell us about all the other things in the mix and, how they help to come together to make your bank account look healthy.
Well, aside from being a spoken word artist, I'm also a voice actress, and that entails all sorts of things from animations to adverts. So that's a field that I'm sure we know is quite lucrative. I'm also a writer, a copywriter, content writer. Branding is my specialty, I'd say. And I am an author. I recently published my debut book, and all these things coming together, I'd say, help keep my bank account healthy, as you put it.
Fantastic. So, how is your bank account celebrating Christmas?
Why is this going personal?
I'm trying to get ideas, right? And for a lot of people too, they're still not sure how to celebrate Christmas, right? So, an idea here, an idea there can help us.
Well, Christmas is largely about love and sharing and family. Okay, well, this is a bit of a secret, but we're having a get-together at my house today.
It's a secret. Nice.
And I'm the chef. I also cook. I'm the chef.
What don't you do?
So, but for me, it's more than just about the food. It's not just about the, it's about reflecting and understanding why we're coming together. We're celebrating Jesus, and the essence of Christ, like I said, is love. So that oneness and that family, I think that is the central point. Of course, having money to put things together certainly helps, but I'd say at the very core, that bond, that oneness, that love is what it's really all about.
Beautiful. So, yeah, do you have room for more?
Room for one.
I'm asking for someone.
You have to write an application. Someone would have to.
Yeah. Write an application.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll work on it. Times New Roman. How many words per page?
You understand? He's been looking for us for Christmas, and I booked a table. I booked a seat on his table.
That is my place. So, you're welcome, by the way. So okay. I think it's a good time to also knock on that your friend's door. But Deze, I understand that you have something, another performance for us. Can we have the pleasure of sharing that, at least if we can't come to your house before we close this conversation?
Absolutely.
So do you want to sit to do it, or you prefer to stand, or what's your preference?
I think I want you to stand. I was totally enraptured by your standing performance.
I concur.
Okay, maybe.
All right, then.
Where does she stand now? Maybe at the center.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the center. Beautiful.
Mary held the Savior of the world in her arms, and you can't imagine how heavy he felt. He carried the past, present, and future sins of every man, past, present, and future. See, Mary held the Savior of the world in her arms, and she knew that he was born to die. Can you imagine how that felt? Knowing that the child in your arms is the Son of God, knowing that the baby that you bore in your womb would one day make the ultimate sacrifice. Sacrifice. The birth of baby Jesus. Does it all mean something? The birth of baby Jesus, do you know what that sacrifice means? The greatest love, the greatest gift, the greatest sacrifice. When that baby turned man was killed, his blood was shed that I might live. See, the real meaning of Christmas is the presents, the parties, the food. It's Santa, Father Christmas. The meaning of Christmas is Santa, no. X marks the spot for your sideways cross. He gave the greatest present when I wasn't in his presence. He sent his son, became the one to save the one. Now I am one. Well, the Father, through the Son, he sent a baby to be born. Well, now that baby is all grown up. He was crucified. He showed up. We're delivered, so we celebrate. And we recognize that the truth is for our heads. His blood was shed, and his head was a crown of thorns. When that baby was born, did it all mean something? The birth of baby Jesus. Do you know what that sacrifice means?
Do you know what that sacrifice means?
Thank you so much. Please.
And you said something about X being something for the sideways cross.
X marks the spot for your sideways cross.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Really. Deze, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your gift with us and our audience and the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you so much. And big apologies. I was supposed to bring you all of the great performances by Favour and Allah Flavor right here. But maybe we'll fix it some other time when we can get it sorted out. But that's it on the program. The Christmas edition of the Morning Brief right here on Channels Television. I'm Jeffrey Uzonga. Enjoy your Christmas.
It's a beautiful Christmas. Enjoy you and make it remain beautiful through it all. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.
Goodbye.